Are you ready? You put in the time, you got the gear. In fact, everything you carry is designed for a specific purpose to give you maximum advantage. Except your glasses. Introducing purpose-built optics, scientifically formulated and optimized for your specific pursuit. At Hook 'em Bullet, we believe sight casting for redfish is different from pitching a bait to a billfish, flipping to a bass on a bed, or live scoping for crappie. Each environment has unique visual cues and demands. You spend a lot of time and treasure feeding an undeniable passion. Don't take a Snoopy pole to a marlin fight. Make the most of every opportunity.
It's the moment when everything is on the line and precision, power, and control make all the difference. A moment over 20 years in the making, anchored on loyalty, trust, and support that goes beyond all expectations. A relentless pursuit of perfection. All born from a revolutionary idea to help you rule the water. Power.
Your early morning mentality is your every hour mentality. All gas, no brakes. Focus, purpose, power. Destined for the water, but confident everywhere else. A calming buzz before the storm, truth of nature itself. You can't catch lightning in a bottle. There's a limit out there, but it's not with your gear. Unrelenting power delivery. Unparalleled weight savings. Keeping you on the water, whether you run a 9-9 or out scoping your best 5. In this rare air, there's power in the silence. It's a mindset, thinking only of the things that matter and freeing your mind from the things that you trust.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Twisted Cat Outdoors podcast, where we give you information on tournaments, events, everything in the catfishing world, bringing you value, tips and tricks, things that you can do out there on the water. Let's get this show started.
I think I just set a Twisted Cat Outdoors 3-fish record.
Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome Monday night live podcast on Facebook and YouTube. We got a special guest, Chris Ramsey. Really excited to have him on. Just a few months ago, got to MC Vicksburg, the $100,000 first place tournament with him. That was a ton of fun. I actually just rolled in the house tonight, just like literally a few minutes ago. Been traveling. Just came from Savannah, Tennessee for the National Catfish Derby. That was a cool event. 20 teams and Bill Dance. Hunter Jones, Chris Stout won that tournament with 5 fish at 149 pounds. We had 5 teams over 100 pounds. After the podcast, I know a lot of you have been texting me today, where am I at in points? I am going to actually do the points right after this podcast and have them posted, because a lot's going to still change. And then obviously this Saturday, we're going to Keystone Lake in Tulsa, Oklahoma, out of the Harbor Grill. So Friday night we'll be at the Harbor Grill from probably 5 to 8. And then Saturday morning we'll be at the Harbor Grill again 5 a.m. doing registration, live well checks, and then you can go fish from 7 to 3, back by 4:30. So Keystone Lake will be the last season tournament for 2024. Then we'll do the points probably that night after the tournament. We'll do points, get them updated. And then November 2nd, the top 50 anglers will be invited to the championship in Helena, Arkansas. That'll be a mandatory sit-down dinner deal. Be fun. Probably only about 20, 22 boats. Over $25,000 it's going to be given away, plus some other prizes, cool stuff that I'm still working on. So pretty excited about that. And then we got like some cool things coming up for 2025. But yeah, so again, this weekend was awesome. We'll have a video recap here in a week or so on Savannah. Thanks to everybody that came and hung out with us there, and hope to see you in Keystone Lake. The weather looks really good. I think like 81 for a high and sunny. So this Saturday should be perfect on Keystone Lake. But without further ado, let's bring in my buddy Chris Ramsey. What's up?
What's up, man? How are you?
Good. You know, every time I'm going to a tournament and we're talking, because Jason Massengale has actually fished almost every one of my tournaments after July with when I emceed with you. I got to show him that video on my phone, because you can't explain to somebody like how electric that was during the weigh-in, emceeing, like with the crowd and them pushing the fence and all that. So I guess what were your thoughts of that event with the spectators and everything?
Yeah, first off, man, thanks for having me tonight, man. I know you're super busy. You see my awesome studio. You know, I just got done helping my wife on the farm do some chores. So, but yeah, man, that event was surreal. You know, we talked about doing an indoor catfish tournament, you know, for a couple years, and Vicksburg, you know, showed what can happen with the backing of a city. You know, they put 100% into that event, and you know, I think me and you kind of tapped each other on the shoulders during that event. You could see people standing in the corridor in the hallway all the way out, you know, past the crowd. Like people were like looking through the doorway trying to watch the show, man. It was surreal. You know, like you said, there was 40 kids up front, man. They were all energetic. Man, it was surreal, man. It was
And
awesome.
how would it compare? So the first year you guys did it, I actually had a tournament in Muscatine, Iowa, so I couldn't be there, and I was trying to watch it live, but I was doing my own tournament, so I knew it was pretty good. And like I said, it looked awesome from even like watching it from my phone. But what you guys like, being there in person is a whole different animal. And I think even talking to, we've seen some people say, hey, you know, the live feed was cool, but the audio was, I'm like, you had to be there. If you weren't there, you can't even understand, you know, with the lights and the music. And Liz was doing a little DJing with some music playing when they came in. Was there a growth between year one and year two?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen some deficiencies from year one to year two. You know, man, it takes a small army to run an event like that, and we called in a separate company to do the lighting and the smoke and all that kind of stuff. Like last year, that was all us. Like we were doing all that, and it was just maxing out the crew. So bringing people to do certain things. We upgraded our live feed and audio stuff, so that got a little better. But yeah, like most of the tournaments that I've ever been affiliated with, you are tending to the online viewer because that's where all your people are at. But man, like that event, like, you know, we had to go from entertaining people on Facebook and YouTube to we've got, you know, 1,000 people at least standing in front of us. You know, it's their show, and the people on Facebook was just a secondary thing. And we really love those people, you know, those people that can't make us, you know, that they support, you know, the Facebook stuff. But at that point we had to turn it over and entertain the crowd, you know. So
I think you're right. I mean, for the first time, you know, you always try to cater to the Facebook people, which is a lot of people watching at every event. But this event, you almost had to, we kind of had to, you know, cater to the people that were there. And there were so many people there. I think I think at noon we were like doing mic checks because there were people already in chairs at noon sitting down.
Yes.
And that was just crazy. And then I think, obviously for day 2, our audio changed a little bit because we played music, and that took it to a whole nother level. And I got to see that, experience that at Knoxville with Bassmasters. And that was like awesome when they got to come in. They kind of had their 5 minutes of fame in front of all these people, and I don't know, it was awesome to be a part of.
Yeah, I wish the viewers on Facebook and stuff could hear the music and stuff, but copyright issues, obviously we can't be playing that. But man, these anglers, they spend a lot of hard-earned money doing this, and yeah, it's a recreational sport, but man, they put blood, sweat, tears, they put everything they got into these events, and like you said, give them their 5 minute of fame. When the anglers come through, no matter if they're weighing 25-pound fish in, man, they're super excited. You know what I mean? They're grinning ear to ear. They're happy to be there, even though they know they're not even close to getting in the money. But to be a part of that event, and seeing anglers enjoy themselves like that, man, that was awesome.
Yeah, and I got there. My goal was just to come and MC and hang out, and Liz and I needed a break because we just been traveling so much. I'm like, let's just go down here, have fun. I can help MC because it's nice. It's like I had so much fun being on stage, having a second person to help MC. Or else you're up there sometimes and you're like talking to yourself and some, you know what I mean? But you can kind of feed off each other. And we had so much fun. But I just found this real. I don't know if people will be able to see it, but this was day 2. Let's see if, I don't know if they'll.
Wow, this is getting wild here. Mega bucks, hot seats. This crowd is nuts. We got Ryan Casey, Tyler Moses coming to the stage.
The smoke, you can hear the music. Oh, that's Nooner.
I mean, you put yourself in that boat right there with the Thompson
family.
I know. Tell me they're not pumped up and excited to roll in there.
Look at the crowd there. That's Donnie and Lonnie. So if you weren't there, I mean, this just gives you an idea. I mean, you hear the crowd. And there's Douglas and Mike and Jackson. So that gives you an idea.
You see them throwing stuff out to the crowd?
Yeah.
And, being able to have the crowd that close, man, and it was like these anglers are super competitive, not only in the water, but they see people throwing gear out. So guess what the next crew is going to do? They're going to throw more gear out, and all that kind of stuff. So it was probably, hands down my favorite event I've ever done. And to have you up there, man, that was, there for a while. It was me and Corey, for a while. And then, he kind of phased out, and I was doing it by myself to have a second person up there, reminded me of me and Corey. And like you said, it's super nice to have somebody to feed off of, because sitting there and talking for 2 to 3 hours, just constantly, you start feeling like a robot. You're asking them what kind of bait they use.
What kind of bait?
Yeah. I mean, so it's good to have somebody else to feed off of. There's anglers that and that you're friends with that I may know them because of a scorecard, you know what I mean? But that's it, And then I'm going to know some anglers that you might not know. So it was nice having that second person up there to feed off of.
Yeah, no, it was, like I said, it was a blast. I'm excited. It was fun. Usually when I'm going to an event like me and Liz and my parents and my crew, it's like, I'm doing so much of everything. But then the crew that was down there was like on another level. I mean, there was, the light guy. We were doing some audio. The stage was set up. I mean, really, there was just a ton of people doing different things. And even the city that came to be a part of that, from the spectators, the vendors, and just the people at that convention center. I mean, it was like, I am pumped to get, like, that's what I want to grow it to, where a lot of these events are like that. And I think that is a good start to kind of show where it's going.
Yeah. Like I said, it takes a small army and it takes a city to do something like that. I would, I was talking to Don, the CVB guy down here in Decatur last year, and I was like, man, if you would knock that wall out and put a garage door on there, man, this could be the next one. And again, he can only do so much, but showing him what could be in Decatur, hopefully gives them a little inspiration to do something different. But yeah, absolutely.
Because I'd love to have
Hands
like
down
the
my
CR
favorite.
donors, in there too. But like I said, it's that the indoor is nice, especially with weather. Because down there, it wasn't as hot, I don't think, as it was the year one. It was hot, but not like
And
year
it was
one.
hot. It was hot year one, man. Like when we'd roll the doors up, you can see like the heat, coming up off the pavement and stuff. It was hot. It was hot.
So let's kind of dive back. It kind of tell me how you got into catfishing. Everybody kind of knows my story. I think you probably got a call. You still there? There you are.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'm sorry, my bad.
Everybody knows my story. Tell us your story. How did you get into catfishing? How'd you get into tournaments? Kind of how did you get started in all this to get to where you're at today?
So a lot of people know me as the one side of the Ramsey brothers. It was me and Corey there for a long time. It actually started because of him. I was the athletic guy. I played football, baseball, basketball. I played all the sports. My brother was more the country, fishing and all that kind of stuff. And of course, born and raised here in Alabama, I did my fair share of that, but I would rather be, playing basketball or playing football, whatever like that. So Corey come up to me one time and he was like, hey man, I've got this idea for a little business. What do you think? And that was pipeline, right? It was the reel repair business. That's where it started. And he was doing reel repair for like his buddies and all that kind of stuff. He's like, man, but I kind of want to do something bigger. I was like, cool. So he kind of pitched me this idea. And then he goes, hey man, there's a catfish tournament out here on Wheeler Lake. You want to go to it? And I was like, yeah, sure, man. And that was Steve Dodd. He had a Hold'em Hook catfish trail, small tailgate style tournament, and we went over there and watched it. And man, it was like, oh man, this is cool, man. Like again, we fished off the docks and off the boats and all that kind of stuff, but never really was in the tournament scene. And we seen this 10 or 15 boat tailgate tournament. We were like, man, this is cool as crap, and I was like, look, man, if you want to get your name out there, we got to sponsor something. So literally we walked up to him, didn't have a thing to pipeline. I think Corey made a couple of like shirts, or something. And we walked up and I asked, like, look, we ain't got no money. We ain't got no product, but we just want to help you. However we can help you, we're going to help you. And he goes, boys, I'm getting a little old. He's like, them fish are getting heavy. We're like, cool. We'll pick them up. We'll help move. So that's where it all started. So we moved fish for Steve for a while. And then he had other hobbies that he wanted to do, like dirt track racing and stuff like that. And so he called us and he goes, boys, y'all been with me for a little while, and just want to let you know that I'm thinking about doing other things. And we were like, well, what are you going to do with Hold'em Hook? And he goes, well, I'm not doing anything. Hold'em Hook's going to stay with me for the rest of my life. And he goes, and we were like, well, what if we took over? And he goes, y'all can have my dates. Y'all can have, my times. I'll give you everything I got. But you just can't take my name. So that's where Bama Blues got started. And at the same time, Pipeline was kind of growing with it. And we kind of got into the tackle stuff and whatnot. But so we did Bama Blues for a year. We did it for half a year, and then we picked it the following year. We had the opportunity to do the big event, the one in January. That event has been here long before I was in the catfishing industry. One of the most prestigious events. Everybody loved that, New Year's Day, New Year's weekend event. Well, it just so happened about the time we were kind of getting a little bit bigger and getting our feet wet and getting more comfortable, that event ended up coming available. And we were like, dude, we've got to jump on it. So we were like, we've never did a big event, but let's just do it, man. We've done small events before. It's 20 boats compared to 100 boats. How difficult could it be? So we jumped in with both feet. We didn't have, a good logo. We didn't have any of that kind of stuff. So we reached out to Glenn, and Glenn helped us out with the ACA and getting us started with our logos and whatnot. And then knowing Glenn, we end up knowing you and knowing Brian St. Alma and stuff like that. And called up Brian, and we were like, hey, look, man, first time we've ever doing this, we need a stage. He goes, y'all going to cap this thing out? We're like, yeah, we're going to cap it at 100. He's like, you make sure I get in this event, I'll give you my stage. I was like, cool, man.
That's Brian.
But luckily but luckily it took, about 8 hours to fill in. So, we didn't have to hold anything for him. But anyway, him and his guys come down, they fished, they brought their stage, helped us set it up. So, without Brian, we couldn't have done it, so, that's kind of where it took off. We ended up moving to Decatur. Not because the Rogersville wasn't supportive of it. It was just that boat ramp there with 100 boats is tight, really, really tight. People love staying in Rogersville, man. You got the cabins, you got Joe Wheeler. That's where I graduated high school from. So that's my home. And I would have loved to kept it there, but just, 100 boat tournament there is just tough. I'm not saying it can't be done. We did it that first year, but man, we had, traffic issues and all that kind of stuff. So we ended up going to Decatur, doing it a few years in Decatur. And in this time, we went as Pipeline, and we went and sponsored one of George's events over there at Mississippi River Marshall in Memphis. This is before he did anything else. He just did that one event. Well, there, we got to talk to Glenn some more and got rubbing elbows with George and all that kind of stuff. And then at that time, he needed an MC. He needed some people to weigh fish in. And we were like, hey, we're doing it. Let's do it for him too. So that's kind of where we joined the Mississippi River Monsters family. And I say family because you mentioned it a little earlier. Man, that it takes an army to run an event like that. And that first time we joined them, they treated us like we were one of them. So fantastic family and all that kind of stuff over there. And so anyway, we started doing that event, and he goes, hey guys, I think about picking up another event, and then another event and all that kind of stuff. And along the way, talking about Brian, he was in Helena one year, and we called him. We were like, hey man, do you need any help? Like, didn't ask for a dime. We're like, hey, do you need any help? Because, it's going to be hot. My guys on stage may need some help. So we went and we helped them, man. And it was absolutely the hottest event I've ever been to, man. It was horrible. But, so just getting to know you and getting to know Brian and all that kind of stuff is kind of where it started. And then, whenever we officially joined, as co-directors with Mississippi River Monsters, that's when George added a few more events. And then we pulled the Bama Blues underneath that umbrella because, me and Corey was doing the Bama Blues event. And then, we we're doing 3 or 4 events with George. I'm like, George, let's just pull this underneath here. Let's put the Bill Dance signature on this logo. Let's add it under the umbrella. So that's when George picked it up, and it become, Bama Blues represented by Mississippi River Monsters. So, that's kind of where we're at today, and then the Vicksburg tournament, man, I remember going to Vicksburg, and that was, crazy. And then year 2 got even bigger. Memphis, fantastic event, standing in front of the Bass Pro Pyramid. You got Bill Dance there. Like that picture you posted announcing that I was going to be on with you tonight.
Yeah.
Man, that's one of my pride and joy pictures right there, man. Having the legend standing there, not only, standing on stage with me, but like talking with me, emceeing with me, calling weights with me. Like that's surreal. People, I watched him when I was a kid, but man, having him shoulder to shoulder with me, that was a moment I'll never forget. So super, super cool. So that's kind of where we're at today.
And that's, but I'll go back to Alabama thing in a second. But, like with Bill Dance, I watched him growing up and all that stuff. And then I remember he fished a New Madrid, Missouri tournament, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. And, I'm a nobody. And we talked, he talked, I had some questions or whatever. And then the next year he came back and he called me out by name. And for somebody like that, it's just crazy. And then ever since then, like he's just the most down to earth dude. And I mean, even, do you remember, did you go to dinner? Was it the night in Vicksburg where he ate they fried a paper towel?
No, I wasn't there. I wasn't there, but
I was sitting across from him, and they fried a paper towel like it was a piece of fish, and then he took a bite of it. But like I said, he's a fun guy to be around. Cole, actually, Bill was more a fan of my dog than anything. I think super cool guy. But Cole met him this weekend. And Bill fished with Hunter Jones, Chris Stout, and actually won the National Catfish Derby out of Savannah this weekend, which is really cool. So, seeing Bill come to this sport of catfishing and help it grow, on the lower Mississippi River. And like, even what you guys do, if you really think about it, I mean, Sea Ark was doing their owner events out of Rogersville. You guys are doing stuff out of Rogersville, and the sport really just grew big enough where we had to move away from Rogersville because you can't put that many boats in. Rogersville still gets used a ton, with boat ramps and stuff like that. And a lot of people stay at those cabins. But it's like, that's kind of, you were that stepping stone in Alabama to grow that down there. And just like I said, it's 10, 11 years ago. Tournaments that I was fishing was out of the back of a truck or, the Wayne. It was just a lot different. So,
Yeah, you were talking about Bill, like mentioning your name. Like I remember it was me and Corey. We were sitting down at the Memphis Yacht Club down there on Mud Island. It was a Wednesday, Thursday. I think this was the second time that we were helping. And Bill came in and he was fishing and sat down and it was eating. He was sitting at the table with us eating. We were like, and we're sitting down with a legend himself. And then when he gets up, he slaps me and Corey on the back and goes, "Corey, Chris, doing a fantastic job. We'll see you Saturday." We were like, this man knows me by name? Like the Bill Nance knows me by name? Yeah, I was like, holy crap. And then like today, he knows my name. It's just, it's surreal to be that close to him. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and to think he's fishing a tournament of mine and weighing in, and just so cool. So like I said, it's all like a slow growth, but after seeing Vicksburg in person, being able to MC that with you, that was so much fun. And I love it's tough because I'm about 50-50. I love running events and being a part of them and growing them, but I also am a diehard angler, and I like being on the other side, kicking everybody's butt and doing side bets. So it's really tough. Like, Memphis, I don't think I've missed. I think I've fished every single MRM Memphis that there's been. That's just like that one tournament that I can never miss. So, but like I said, being on the other side is so much fun too, because you get to talk to everybody. I can joke with them now because I'm not fishing against them. But and we had a lot of fun, like I said, in Vicksburg. I remember I got in Lonnie and Donnie's boat because they were the last ones to weigh, and then Massengales were in the lead. So, yeah, there's Larry, and Larry's also a part of bringing that. Vicksburg was going to be great 6 years ago.
Yes, yeah. So, to give a little history of Vicksburg, that place has been itching to have a catfish tournament down there for years and years. And I know Brian said I'm going to talk to them guys down there. Mr. Larry Muse, he called us up one day and he goes, "Boys, I got a great opportunity for you." And we were like, "What's that, Mr. Muse?" And he was like, "Vicksburg's wanting a tournament down there so bad they can't stand it." And we were like, man. And so we looked that way. I know St. Alma looked that way. I'm sure you did too. George was just the one that finally bit the bullet and went down there, and it's proven to be a fantastic event. So, but I got a question for you. So what's more stressful, being an angler in one of these tournaments or running one of these tournaments?
Running one of the tournaments.
Yeah,
100%. Like I said, I loved coming down to Vicksburg and not having to, like, you'd had your, everybody had their own little job. So my goal was to come down and really have some good food, hang out. I helped in the mornings, which Carrie, if she's on here, she's going to give me a lot of crap because the second morning I set my alarm for 2:30, but it was PM and not AM. And that is a fact. But I didn't have to set the scale up. I mean, obviously I'd worry about the scale, but there's always backups. But there's so many things that I don't think that people understand, especially anglers that are fishing. Being on the tournament director side, like every little thing matters. When you got to worry about the rules and the anglers, are they making it back on time? And there's always going to be an issue with something. There, Carrie, I knew she was going to say it. There's just so much. But then you have people like Carrie, and Natalie came this weekend because Liz was doing something in Jeff City. Like, people don't realize the behind the scenes stuff that make Vicksburg happen and all these other events. And that's where, like, going to fish is a little stressful, but I enjoy it. And, like, I got no worries besides catching fish. You know what I mean? If the audio goes down, your live feed goes down, the camera, like, I don't have somebody running my live feed. We have Starlink. I set it all up with the camera that you're looking at right here. And that's a stationary camera. Sometimes I might have Rhett move it around, but, like, you can't get every angle. So, like, the awards changes, and it's a big deal to change that camera to flip around when it's all hardwired. And if that camera goes down, then I'm getting phone calls and all these other things. So, like I said, it's a small army where this person's maybe checking the end of the line, which is my dad usually, clothing, just all that stuff. But so, yeah, if that answers your question, I would rather be on the fishing side for the stress. But I love, like, emceeing and really growing an event and helping grow the sport. Yeah. And like I said, I'm just one piece of the puzzle of everybody that's in this industry that's growing it, from George and Brian. And I used to fish Monsters on the Ohio with Aaron Wheatley, and it's just grown so fast. You know what I mean? And everybody always kind of has that, is catfishing growing? Is it stagnant? And I'm like, 10 years is a long time. At 10 years ago, there was, like, Monsters on the Ohio and a few trails, nothing crazy. And the level that we're at now, if somebody would have told me, which I read a thing, and maybe Cole put it, but it was like a thing that said, you're now where you wanted to be 5 years ago. And it's just like, look at the sport. If somebody would have said, I'm going to have a $25,000 championship in Helena, Arkansas on November 2nd, it's a no entry fee, I'd say that doesn't even make sense. Like, that's not realistic. And that's where we're at. So, like, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, I want to be like that Knoxville Bassmasters when they're coming in with chainsaws and stuff, like cutting these books up, like what Power Pole was doing and stuff. So, like I said, it's cool, and having, like, this, what Sean got to meet Bill Dance this weekend. I mean, that's where we're at. But there's a lot of good people that's behind the scenes. Me and you might look like we're running it all on stage, but we're just the people up there talking. There's a lot of people behind us, and I mean, it's huge.
Yeah, I'm glad Carrie's in here, man. She does a lot. She does, her job doesn't start, a day or two before the event. Somebody that's doing all the paperwork, on how organized, the captain's meetings are. You come in, she's checking off, adding and taking away anglers, all that kind of stuff. She didn't just go get the Ziploc bags that morning and create those boat cards, that morning. That takes time, and to run a event as smoothly as 95% of the events I've ever been a part of, it doesn't happen overnight.
No, like I said, I always give Liz crap, but Liz, we have the cards that we give everybody, and we have a lot of people register still the night of, and she's up until midnight, 1 o'clock, filling all those out, making sure everything's correct on them for the morning. And I always tell her that I'm going to stay up and help her, and then I fall asleep while she's doing that. But I mean, that happens sometimes. But yeah, no, like I said, it's from writing the checks to everything. And, that's why I do this podcast. And even this podcast is tough every month, which I don't make every Monday night. I try, unless maybe I'm traveling, but it's to kind of get info out there and help grow. There's a lot of people. I mean, you look at Cole and Sean. I mean, they've not really been fishing tournaments. Cole had just, this is his like second tournament or so last weekend, and he's traveling all over the country and he loves it. And that's what it's about, getting these new people involved. And it is like, you know, what Sean said, it's like a family, and what Cole said, there's a lot of fun and hanging out in these events. You know, it's the fishing is obviously always number one. You want to win and all that, but there's a lot of great friendships that come out of these catfish tournaments, for sure.
Yeah, you know, I think there's places for all different type of tournaments. Like those tailgate tournaments, there's a place in the industry for those.
Absolutely,
you know,
yeah.
There's $50 to $100 entry fees on your home lake every, you know, once or twice a month. You know what I mean? That gets your feet wet. You know, learning how to, you know, compete, because it's different. You know, me and Corey used to go out, you know, on the Elk River, and we'd put in before dark, and we would sit there all night long. I mean, 12, 14 hours fishing. Totally different than tournament fishing. You've got a deadline. You've got, you know, it's totally different than pleasure fishing. So, you know, and then you move on up to, you know, the mid-entry fee tournaments, and then you go to like the mega buck stuff. You know, that's, you know, that's, it takes a small army to, you know, anything more than, I mean, even the 20 boat there at Savannah, I'm sure if you'd have had 10 more people, you would have took every bit of their help, you know? So it
yeah,
takes
I know.
a small army. And
I mean, you take even Savannah, you know, so the stage, the Helena crew bought the stage, set the stage up on Main. They closed the street down at noon for the stage to set up. My parents are setting up our stuff down below the Savannah market, merch and all that stuff. My dad's setting up audio. Brandon Martin's coming there to do video. So he's coming from Missouri to do video. Tom and his wife are coming from around St. Louis to do photos. And they don't just do photos. You know, they're helping. You know, Liz was gone. Natalie was there helping. Sean is handing me boat cards that I can read off on stage. We had Miller Fisheries come to haul fish, just so we didn't have to, you know, some of these events, as we move them away from the boat ramp to get more spectators and to kind of help grow it, we had to put fish back in live wells, and then the boat's got to take the fish back. But Corey Miller and his crew have been coming a little bit to help us, and that is a big deal. So there's so many moving parts, like where's the stage going to set up? Where is this going to happen? How do we set live feed up? Where should the scale be? We got the ruler. Where's this ruler going to be? Corey Miller's going to back his truck and trailer up to the stage so we can weigh him, measure him, weigh him, put him in his tank so then he can take him back. There's a lot of moving parts, and, you know, polygraph, you know, having the polygraph ready. So he might do it in my truck. So then I got to go clean the front of my truck out, throw everything in the back seat or in the trailer. I start my truck and my truck's running, and I say, hey, it's ready for it, you know, and I'll send you somebody. There's just a lot of things. That's why I'll have, if you ever see me on stage with a notepad, it's because I'm reading stuff and checking some boxes off sometimes, or people are yelling at me, hey, you didn't do this. I'm like, oh, crap. So, but yeah. Cool. But yeah, like I said, there's so much going on, but I love fishing too. So I love fishing, and anybody that's ever wanting to bet me a $20 sign bill in a tournament that I'm fishing, I'm all in. Especially Joe Lunsford.
Little side action, yeah.
Yeah, that's just something that started. That's something pretty cool, you know. Just, and I think like that camaraderie, what Sean Cannon's talking about, where, you know, if me and you were fishing a tournament, yeah, I want to beat you and stuff, but it's also, if me and you don't do good, we at least can beat each other. And I got to sign up. Actually, I got to show you this. Aaron Gerald sent me this morning. And I've not lost a lot of $20 bets. And I had to look at his wall. He says, my wall of fame is growing. And then I almost closed it, and I had to take a double take. And if you see, we always take a picture. That's me in the middle holding a $20 signed bill. And then that's the $20 signed bill. So that's how important, if you're wondering how these $20 side bets are, I made Aaron Gerald's wall of fame. Actually, a wall of shame, if you ask me, but whatever. So I'm there because he beat me, which is cool. So that's what's cool. Like I said, I have some of that stuff down in my living room, but that's what it's about, man. And like I said, I mean, did you think it would ever get this big? I mean, this fast. I mean, when you started getting going,
man, it seemed like maybe we jumped in at the peak of it, or as it's climbing. But yeah, it was like, man, it just blew up overnight in our eyes. It was like one thing that we noticed is when we kind of first come on the scene and we started doing tournaments, we wanted to give the anglers their 5 minutes of fame. Even if it was a 20 boat tournament, we were wanting to go live. Heck, we built a little wooden stage just to get them off the ground, to make them feel, that wasn't for us. We have, it doesn't benefit us at all. How much easier is it to set up something on the concrete than to set up a stage? I mean, it's two totally different things. And whenever we were only having, 25, 30 boats, it wasn't for us. Like, that was for them. The banners that we built, the stage with the banners, all the audio and live feed and stuff like that, that's not for us. We gained nothing out of that. It was for the anglers. And like the pro staffing stuff, it seemed like 5-6 years ago there was only a few people wearing jerseys, and now it's like, man, everybody's got a jersey on, everybody's got sponsorships. I think something that I talked to Nooner Hall after Vicksburg or before Vicksburg. Me and him were talking on the phone on the way home, and sponsorships outside of the catfishing industry, you're starting to see them tick up a little bit. But 5-6 years ago, it was Tackle Bandit, it was Dale's Tackle, it was those guys, because that was pretty much it. But now, Nooner and them, I was talking to him, and he's got 7-8 sponsors that are not in the catfishing industry, and they're some of his biggest sponsors. So whenever we get to the point of Toyota and Chevrolet and those type people sponsoring events and sponsoring individuals, I think that's where you're going to see it break over that peak and just take off like a rocket. I think we're that close.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, and especially in another 5 to 10 years, we'll look back at even this podcast. Chris Ford. That's what Nooner's saying. And that's like I said, it's where we're getting close. Even like some of the sponsors that I just recently got this year, like Purpose Built Optics, sunglasses, and Mossy Oak, and even now battery companies. So people are definitely getting or noticing it. I think we're just kind of on that verge, because once people see these big fish getting weighed in, again, this weekend, somebody got slapped hard. I think it was maybe it was Larry's team. But I mean, these fish are slapping guys, their hats off, water splashing everywhere. I mean, Tom probably goes through 2 towels, wiping his lens off all the time. But it's just fun watching, a catfish.
There's no way you just said, there's no way you just said one of Larry's team or him getting whipped up by a catfish. That man catches the meanest catfish, no matter where he goes, man. Them things will beat him to death, and he keeps coming back for more. So it's a running joke every time we see him. Is like, well, because I think it was a few years ago that one of them knocked him down. I think it was a cat mash tournament that knocked him down. And then after that, he's just been.
I'll never forget that video
in the river.
Glenn even made a little funny thing with that, but I remember that because he got knocked in. He went down in the boat. He bear hugged that fish and landed on his back. I mean, I don't know. And anglers are taking much better care. They've got better equipment, bigger live wells, and they know they're really taking good care of these fish. It was Crothersville Cat Masters when that happened, but I mean, and Nate Blint was another one. Nate, that flathead beat the crap out of him this weekend. Hunter Jones, that 100-pounder up in Alton, Illinois, and then even in New Madrid. I mean, that he got just tore up in New Madrid. But a lot of these anglers are taking good care of their fish, and it shows. And but like I said, I think you're going to see some big sponsors the next few years. And like I said, my first tournament that I put on, I had one guy in a t-shirt or not a t-shirt. He had no shirt on at all, and he was smoking a cigarette. And I'm thinking, man, I don't know if I can really post a picture like that. That's a little, not that it's bad, but it's like for, you're trying to get these big sponsors, but you're right. Almost, I mean, Nooner Hall, it takes me about 15 minutes to read all of his sponsors. Joe Lunsford hands me a full paper printed with his sponsors. So, I mean, like I said, it's really growing. It really is.
Yeah. Yeah. It's exciting time, man. It's, it's got to grow from all different sides of the industry. We talked about sponsors, the events, they're going to keep growing. They got people like you, George, and all the others out there that are wanting to grow this thing on the event side, and the anglers have to do their part too. If anglers want to be professional, then they've got to, and I'm not calling any individual out, but they've got to become professional anglers. And that's in multiple aspects of, how you carry yourself on social media, how you carry yourself, in the weigh-in line, on these live feeds. I mean, I've met some fantastic people, and the Massengale brothers blew me away first time I ever met them. Like, it was like they were open book. They would pretty much tell you everything to do on the Mississippi River except what spot they're fishing in, but everything else they would tell you. Like, and people like that, Larry Muse, the Thompson family, and I can go on and on and on. Those type people. If we have anybody on here that is just kind of getting into in the tournament industry, follow some of those guys and see what they're doing.
Oh, they're on here, and like I said, it's so important. I mean, the reason we're saying these names, obviously they're good anglers, but they're positive anglers, and they really show, they spend time to talk to you at these events. If you shoot them a message on social media, because right now we're at that sport where we don't really have a Gerald Swindle or a Justin Lee, but we're getting there. So right now, somebody like Cole can come in this sport brand new and really become somebody quick, just with the right social media, the right attitude. And I mean, I think we're going to see. I mean, look at what Jason Massengale's cashed this year. That's a lot. That's more than what a lot of people make a year, and he did that in 2 tournaments.
Yeah,
100,000 at Vicksburg, 19,000 at Helena. He just cashed 2 checks with me back to back weekends, plus whatever else he's cashed. Even Hunter Jones, him and Chris Stout have 2 Alton Catfish Classic wins. If anybody, and Hunter, if you're watching, I completely forgot. He just won last weekend in New Madrid and this weekend in Savannah, back to back.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're on fire too.
That's saying something. That dude is good. And Stout's going to be on my podcast here in the next couple of weeks. We're going to dig in to see if we can get some info from him too.
When we were in Helena just a couple weekends ago for the Mega Bucks event there, as the boat numbers were small, but it was like, man, we had every powerhouse team there. Like, it was awesome. You had Dodd, you had, of course, Bill Dance was there. You had Hunter Jones and them, Chris Stout. I mean, you had every one of them. The Fountain brothers, the Madison Gales. Like, man, it was like an all-star event there. It was awesome.
I kind of like, and that's kind of how I built the championship for Twisted Cat, is to get the best of the best. And that's, so you had 19 boats at Helena. Well, I mean, at the most that I can have is probably 21, 20, maybe 22. But, it's the top 50 anglers, so a lot of those are teams. So it'll be interesting. And it's fun when you have that small elite crowd and you can hang out, everybody can talk. I still love the 100, 200 boat tournaments, but when you get it down to that, I mean, it's a fun event.
Yeah.
Kind of like day 2 at Vicksburg. I mean, everybody got to play their own song, which I think we picked a few songs out because some people didn't know. You know what I mean? I think they were like nervous if it was going to be a good song, depending on how they did that day. So some people were texting us and, hey, change my song to this or whatever. But it was cool. The song thing is awesome. I love that.
It is. I wish we can somehow get around it so we can air that, and not get kicked off of, because it was a couple years ago. It was right after the Luke Bryant Bill Dance song come out, and we tried it. We were live streaming and we tried to play that song, and our viewership went from like 200 to 2 with a snap of a finger. and it was all just because of that song. It's like, yes, it sounds like I'm trying to get you to a tournament, and I am, but you have to be there, especially at a Vicksburg tournament, some of these 100-boat tournaments. Again, the smoke, the lights, the music, and all that kind of stuff. It's for the people that are there, and it's for the anglers. I usually say it once or twice every tournament. I want the crowd to clap, get excited, stuff like that, because these anglers, blood, sweat, tears, a lot of money. They've got $200,000 in a setup of a boat and a truck, and then they're spending thousands of dollars that week on fuel, and they probably come down and pre-fish before. It's like this isn't just, I'm going to go work Monday through Friday. When I get off work Friday afternoon, I'm going to come down and I'm going to fish that tournament. That's not how these anglers that we're talking about. That's not how
all in. Yeah. And that's awesome to watch. Like I said, that was electric. It was, and back to what Vicksburg is doing, I've got to go there a few times. I went there with George once, and I've met, like Will, I've met Charles Tony. Like, these are restaurant owners that are buying boats, fishing the tournament. And I don't know if you remember on day one when Charles and Will, they weighed, and they were like they were just a couple boats before they were going to get kicked out. And I remember Charles Tony's in the middle, and he says, what's it take right now? And we said something, and I said, you're like one out. And he said, lock the doors. But it's just the whole town is there. And when you have like business owners and the restaurant had a bunch of us out, Charles Tony had a bunch of us out. He's a sweet restaurant there in town. It's just, like I said, it's so much fun to see a town. And that's what these events take, is to everybody come together and build it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
That's a Nooner saying. It says we're going to take a lot of stuff to give out the crowd at Vicksburg next year. And that's a lot of anglers, even this weekend, giving out rods. Joe Lunsford and them are signing some rods and then giving them out. So there's, like I said, my big goal too is to get spectators to watch. And then you get a few spectators each tournament that want to be a part of it. So,
we're talking about the sport of catfish and growing. It blew me away. Yeah, Mississippi Queen. I remember when that song kicked on, and it was awesome. But after we got done weighing the fish and stuff like that, we were in that lull in between while they're doing a polygraph test, and we're trying to fill the void there. I had a kid come up to me and ask me. He handed me a hat and a Sharpie and asked for my autograph. I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Like, I'm just up here, just weighing fish in, and this kid thought I was cool enough to come get my autograph." It's like, that guy in the Tennessee hat, you need to be going to get his autograph, not mine. But we made an impression on that kid where he thought that he needed my autograph, and I was like, holy crap, man! Like that's awesome. And I guarantee, if we could align if we could align the anglers up, they could have stood there for an hour, signing autographs there in Vicksburg, because like that city and those residents are bought in to the catfishing industry. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and a lot of the anglers brought stuff to throw out. That's what Nooner said, he's going to bring some more stuff for next year. But I mean, like I said, you were just on that first time where there's autographs getting signed. They're throwing stuff out to the crowds. The crowds are. I mean, we had to have security hold the gate back just because so many people.
Yeah.
I mean, this is wild.
It was wild.
I'm getting Bill a Roll Tide hat. Okay, so
that's enough of that.
Yeah, I guess I got in a little trouble this weekend at Savannah because I have a Florida and Arkansas cornhole set, and I got the Arkansas set out because we always do a throw bags, and actually, Team DeWitt got their entry fee back in Savannah, so that was a good deal. But I'm getting so they were not. The city was not too happy to see an Arkansas cornhole board in their Savannah market.
Oh, I'm sure.
Okay, so I guess we do kind of have some news to tell people.
Yeah. Sorry, I was trying to see if I could see the chat on my end, but I can. But
you're not. I'm trying to show some of it.
Yeah.
Can you see when I show that?
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Yeah, we got a good crowd tonight. So I guess you want to just kind of tell them what's going on?
Yeah. So we've had a lot of people messaging us about the Bama Blues event, and that event's been a staple in the industry for many, many, many years. And
How many years do you think?
I mean, before we had it, you know what I mean? It was there, very successful. I mean, 15 plus years probably. I mean, I don't know, man. It's been there for a long time. But you know, Wheeler Lake is one of those places people come to catch their PBs. Man, Tennessee River has some of the biggest fish in the country. It's competing with Mississippi River, you know, for that record there, you know. So who knows? But you know, super excited about this year. A little bit of changes, maybe. That's why I'm on here tonight. But excited to announce that you know, I'm not going anywhere. You know, I'll be emceeing and doing the Bama Blues things like I have for the last, you know, about 5 years or so. But excited to have you and Twisted Cat on board this year for Bama Blues 2025.
Yeah, no, I'm excited about it, and that's what, you know, when that opportunity came, that's why I called you. I'm like, I'm only gonna do it if you got to be on stage, especially after as much fun as we had on stage down in Vicksburg. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And which that's gonna be cool. Like I said, and we talked about that. That's gonna start the Twisted Cat season. There will be one big change. I mean, I guess big change is I know that it was scheduled, I think, for the second week of January, but
so.
We're going to move it to January 4th. So January 4th, 2025 will be the first event for Twisted Cat, and it'll be Bama Blues. And I had my buddy Cody working on kind of doing the logo stuff, and that's kind of where he's at right now with it, just something a little different. So Twisted Cat Outdoors presents Bama Blues. So I'm pretty pumped, man. Like I said, it's like it's got handed down, and it's a big deal. And you know, I'm excited that we get a chance to do it together.
Yeah, I'm excited to get back on stage with you, man. Vicksburg was fun. You've always told me I have an open invitation. And you know, I'm not saying this that you don't know. I mean, you're more busy than I am. You know, I mean, you're traveling the country. I've got 2 kids. I've got a full-time job. Yeah. So I mean, to have the opportunity, have it written down in stone that mean you're going to be back on stage together. That's super exciting to have you here. Of course, this place holds a special place for me. This is where I'm born and raised, and this is home for me to have Twisted Cat come over, and you get to run it back on stage again. That's exciting. And you know, if you want to go through some of the details, I think some of the details people are going to be excited to hear about you know, entry fees and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, so I mean, as of right now, we're going to kind of keep everything pretty similar, you know what I mean, except we're just going to move it up that, you know, I think it used to be the last time I got to fish, I think there was 187 boats. I think, anyways, I say that because I got top 10. Maybe that's why I'm saying it. But there was a lot of boats there. But it was that first weekend of January, and you know, now with Liz teaching and so much going on for us and people in the Midwest that are traveling down there, and just in general, school's out. That's kind of a week that people can get off easy to go down and fish it. So Thursday, January 2nd, we'll have the captain's meeting. Saturday, January 4th will be the tournament, unless some kind of crazy weather happens, and maybe you guys have had to change it. You know, that's, again, it's Wheeler. It's one of those tough. I mean, we could be iced in up here. You never know. So just have that option that we can maybe go Friday if Saturday doesn't work. 100% payback plus some big fish money. So right now it'll be, which I'm still going over the rules for sure and all that stuff for 2025. But we're looking at $300 entry per boat. Pretty much about everything you guys did last year, almost exact, except it's Twisted Cat. It's me and you on stage. It's like I said, it'll be an awesome payback. And registration, I know everybody's itching because I know you were telling me a lot of people have been reaching out to you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna probably shoot for November 4th, Monday night, maybe after the podcast, where we can kind of maybe go over. Maybe I can have you back on November 4th and go over some of those details, and maybe we can try to get it, because I know that's 2 months after that, so it'll be here before we know it.
Yeah, it'll be right on top of us. Yeah, when me and you started talking about, after Twisted Cat took over and me and you were going to team back up for this event, and we talked about, wanting to move it back towards the holidays. The last couple events that I've done, I've went around during the captain's meeting, was like, if you had the option, would you want it to? The trend is, if you keep it on the same weekend, it'll eventually get back to the holiday weekend. But everybody, and I think I even talked to you a couple of years ago, and you were like, man, if we're traveling out of town, we need to come down when everything's out of, school's out, work's out for the holiday, stuff like that. So, I think it puts some strain on George and crew, being that far away during the holidays. George has got a big family, growing family. So, it was better for that organization to have it, that week after. But I think, with capping it out, with moving the entry fees back around the $300 mark, this thing's going to sell out, pretty quickly. I think the year we had it in Rogersville, I think we sold out in 8 hours. I think the two after that in Decatur, I think we sold out within a day or two. So if you're watching this and you want to get into this event, I know you have a lot of viewers from up in your area. Man, there's no time to sit back and wait on this event. As soon as we drop it, you need to be getting your name in the hat.
Yeah, Chris White asked a good question too. Are there new boater safety laws that start January 1 for Alabama? I heard rumors everyone out of state needs a boater. I think that might be true if you're either out of state or 1984. I know like Missouri had theirs is 1984 because I was born in 85. Not trying to show my age, but we'll have all that stuff up, and then you can follow that stuff on Bama Blues and Twisted Cat. Bama Blues is still going to have the Facebook page, and everything will be on that. And like I said, not much is changing, just really the date. And, I'm not sure what the entry fee was last year or the payout, but it'll be, 100 boat cap, $300 entry, 100% payback. We'll probably maybe do like a $50 big fish side pot. We'll already have big fish money, but I've done that at some of the tournaments that went pretty cool too. It'll be fun. I'm super, super pumped. I don't get to fish a lot in Alabama now because I work for Sea Arc, so I don't get to fish the Sea Arc Owners Tournament anymore, and now I guess I don't get to fish this anymore. So, yeah. But that's a great question, Chris.
Yeah, man, I'm excited, man. Again, I know me and you have talked a lot about Vicksburg, and that's the first event me and you've kind of teamed up on, and just to have another person up on stage, it's fun. You feed off each other's energy and stuff like that. So we're going to be able to do that in Decatur again. And I keep eye on your tournaments, man. I promise. And I look at my schedule and see when I can try to make an event. So y'all may see me pop up, one weekend.
I know I've been telling you to come to Alton and stuff, but I know life's crazy. And I mean, even like next year, I know some people have been asking me about my 2025 schedule, and obviously you're going to go Alabama, January, Texas, February, Illinois, March, still finishing up April. We got Missouri, Iowa, Illinois. There's just a lot of new stuff. Yeah, definitely you should come to November 2nd if you can come to Helena for the championship. Yeah. I don't know, Nooner, are you going to make the – he might be in the top 50 now after he just had a heck of a finish, and he's had a really good year, actually, at every tournament he's almost fished, except, Nooner, you didn't do good at Memphis. I'm just going to throw that out there. And I think we did have a $20 bet on that.
Which I don't want to hear anything from Nooner until – I don't want to hear nothing from Nooner until he signs up for Bama Blues. them ducks and geese, they'll wait a weekend.
Yeah. Who cares about those ducks and geese?
Yeah.
For once, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, he used to fish whenever we had the small local stuff down there. I remember when they showed up in a duck boat with a
Yes.
with a water trough, and they were wearing them out then. And then I remember like the night they pulled up. I think it was a night tournament. They showed up with their new Sea Arc boat, and they were all like giddy, man. They were all excited to have a new boat and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's where
I
we.
wonder, what year was that? Do you remember, Nooner? What year was that? Because he had fished my Cape Girardeau. They show up, and he was a little bit more. I don't know about redneck word, but I think he had boots on in the summer, and they went out and that in like a duck boat, and they didn't make it very far. And I get a call. It's like 8 o'clock in the morning. It's like, hey, we're getting towed back. We spun a prop or something. It was some crazy story, but like, just look at where he's at now. And that's what we're talking about is new anglers can get in and really get in there and grind. Yeah. I mean, Brad Holt's another one. There's just so many good anglers now. It's even hard to even talk about them all. Yeah. He said Easy Cat, July of 2020. And I want to say they've almost paid it off with winning, because they did really good in your trail, didn't they? Oh,
they did, yeah.
Ouch. Ouch. Hunter, he ain't gonna be able to sleep tonight. That hurt me for him. Ouch. Especially after last weekend. I think Nooner just threw his phone. That's why he can't respond. Oh my. Yeah, but no, it's cool watching them, father and two sons go after it and really get it. You know what I mean? Yeah. He said, yeah, the last 2 weekends you've got them. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I appreciate you being on the show tonight. But go ahead.
Yeah, but something that for everybody listening, something that we'll go over is the entry fee price. Like I said, around the $350 mark. I know back when we had it, it was exclusively Wheeler Lake, and then we end up opening it up to Wilson, and then I think last year we had it Wilson and Guntersville and Wheeler. So those will be conversations me and Alex will have, and just see what's best for the event. So all that stuff will come out sooner than later.
Yeah, real soon. And like I said, I don't know if that'll be the end of it, but that's the kind of a start. And that was a late night thing that Cody Kanaki was doing. So he's been doing some logos for some people. And I said, man, you got to throw something cool together. And like I said, we need to that's what I'm trying to do with the National Catfish Derby is figure out how long it's been going, and like some of the weights throughout the years. And we need to get that on the Bama Blues. Is that Facebook page been around the whole time too?
No, that Facebook page was created by us. So whenever we took that January 1st tournament over, we created that page. Before, I don't think there was a page for that event before. I think it was run off of his company page. So that page was started whenever we had our small tournament trail page, and then we had the big event page. So that's the same page. So if you're listening to this and following that, you'll see the name change on there and the new logo and stuff pop up. So
and make sure you follow that page. Yeah. But back to Nooner, you kind of were the stepping stone for Nooner to get into this sport. You know what I mean? You being there and him being able to go down there and chase it.
Yeah,
so, I mean,
they used to come and fish our event, every month. They were a staple in our tournament. They have a house out there on Wilson. They would come, like I said, they started with a duck boat with a water trough, and then moved up to the Sea Arc, and then moved into their list of sponsorships are impressive. You know, they're one of the few that have a lot of sponsorships outside of the catfishing industry. So within the last 5 years, they went from zero to hero real quick, and that's just where we're at in the sport of catfishing, man. If you're dedicated to the sport, and like you were talking about, going from no shirt, cigarette, and boots to, nice and holding yourself accountable and presentable and stuff like that. So
that's a meme. I need to get Nooner. Not that he was smoking, but I just picture Nooner in cowboy boots and cut off jean shorts, called a big fish, to now, all presentable. His hair's, gelled back up. He's got his nice jersey on. But no, I'm just joking, Nooner. I love you. But it's changed that there's so many more jerseys that people are wearing, and people are just trying to be more professional to grow the sport. Cole just got a jersey like Fast Track. I think it was like $180 to get it like 3 days earlier, just so you could have it last week or something crazy. And he's all about it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Jordan, not yet. Have you updated the points since Savannah? I am. Once I get off this podcast and eat a quick dinner, then I'm going to get it updated. It'll be posted tonight as long as I get it. I'll get it finished. I promise. It'll be posted tonight. You'll probably be sleeping maybe, but when you wake up in the morning, you're going to see the points, the Twisted Cat points updated. And just don't forget, a lot's going to change next week or after next weekend in Keystone. So, well, yeah. So if you can, man, like I said, that November 4th, we're going to talk and kind of see how things go. I know the entry, but the registration needs to get going quick. So we'll just shoot for that November 4th. Chris and I will go over some details. It'll be posted on Twisted Cat and the Bama Blue page. And then we'll just try to go live and then kind of explain registration, answer any questions about the event. And then maybe during the event, we can just open it up and rock and roll.
Yeah. I'm excited, man. Hopefully we can Vicksburg 2.0 this thing and try to draw the crowd in and make have some fun.
Yeah. I guess I'm having pizza tonight. So it will be a quick dinner. Got to go get
Can you go wrong with pizza?
No. All right. Well, thanks for watching, Nooner. But yeah, hey, so let's shoot for that. We'll talk here this week still to kind of catch up on some things, and hopefully everybody's excited to start the Twisted Cat Outdoors 2025 season in Wheeler Lake, Alabama, down in Decatur. That's going to be fun. Hopefully we have good weather. How's the weather? I guess last 4 to 5 years. Give me a weather update. Have you had do you get snow down there or not?
Yeah, we do. So the very first event we ever done, it was in Rogersville. It was cold. It was cold, but there was no. I think it was right above freezing, so we didn't have to worry about boat ramps and stuff freezing over. But the event was over. We handed out awards. We were starving, so we left the stage up. Brian and his crew was going to come back in the morning and get it anyway. So we went to the Mexican restaurant there in town, ate, and when we come back, as soon as we put our hands on the thing, it started snowing. Now, our snow is a lot different than y'all's up there, but it was just spitting snow. It really wasn't sticking much, but it was cold. I've done this event in a short sleeve before, and then I've done it in, long johns, hoodies with a heater up underneath the podium. So it's either or. Really the only thing that we've got to worry about is boat ramps freezing over and the wind. We got to stay away from them northwestern winds on Wheeler. On the skinny part of the river, any angler will be fine. It's just right there in Decatur. It's just wide open, and the wind can wreak havoc on that. And we're gonna, obviously this is a Twisted Cat event, but I know safety is a priority for you, just as it is for me, and that's why, before we come on tonight, we talked about the Thursday and Thursday Captain's Meeting, a Saturday event, to leave that Friday open, and we're gonna be watching the wind, and if we can keep the angler safe and moving it to Friday. I know a lot of people don't like to fish on Sundays. because a lot of people want to go home. So leaving that day open for Friday. So if you're planning on fishing, make sure you're prepared, just in case we have to go Friday. So
yeah. Hey, Mike, not yet, but just if you jumped on, what people do for sure know is January 4th, Decatur, Alabama, Wheeler Lake, Bama Blues. February 1st, Texas. I'm hopefully have that dialed in. March 1st, Alton, Illinois. Sunday, May 4th, Fort Madison, Iowa. Saturday, May 24th, Pekin, Illinois. And then we're just finishing up. We got Perryville, Missouri, Burlington, Iowa, and Savannah, Tennessee. We just had to get through some of these events here in the fall to kind of just make sure the dates work out. Everything went well. We're probably only going to do about 11 events total. They'll be spread out more. So we will not be having these tournaments back to back to back. This is we've had 2 months now where we've had tournament 3 weekends in a row, 1 month, 4 weekends in a row. And it's hard on us and it's hard on our staff and it's hard on the anglers. So that will not happen in 2025 for sure. And I'm probably not having homemade pizza, Sean. It's probably hopefully it's DiGiorno. Didn't they say that's delivered or something? I don't know. We'll see.
DiGiorno, man, is pretty good.
It is. All right. Well, if you have any other questions, like I said, we'll post some updates on the Twisted Cat page and the Bama Blue page. We're excited to announce this tonight with Chris. And like I said, I think George is focusing on the 2 events he has right now. I'm not sure what else is up George's sleeve. You never know with George. But Vicksburg is going to be a massive event. And then obviously you got Memphis. So it's growing, and I'm excited to be a part of it. But you're never going to get me. Yeah, you're never going to get me on stage in Memphis unless you're handing me a plaque. But you've done that.
I've done that multiple times.
And a boat.
Gave you a boat and a boat. Yeah. So next year will be the 10th anniversary of Mississippi River Monsters in Memphis. So I know George wants to blow that thing out of the water for 10 years. So that's cool. 10 years is a long time to have an event. So
yeah. Okay. Well, awesome. Hey, thanks for being on. Everybody, thanks for watching. Stay tuned with the updates. And again, Keystone Lake, Tulsa, Oklahoma. We'll be using the Harbor Grill in Manford at Keystone Friday night and Saturday morning. And then obviously weighing in right there on the dock, which is awesome. So we're excited about that. And then we'll see who makes it to the top 50 to Helena. I'll have the top 50 after Savannah posted tonight. So we're out. Chris, thanks so much for being on, and excited to be in Alabama with you in January.
Yep, super pumped. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Yep. See y'all.